All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros College Football Show. It's another beautiful autumn afternoon across the nation, which means it's time to fire up our Week 9 early picks and line movement predictions. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and I'm very pleased to announce that I just cast my first official ballot for the Hero Sports Group of 5 Top 25 Media Poll. And joining me today is a man who some are calling the voice of the college football betting community right now with the rises and the falls. He's my friend. He's your friend. He's Scott Bogman. Week 9 already, Scotty. Can you believe it? How you feeling about it?
Man, we are rolling downhill. 5 and 6 week on my picks from my show. But obviously, we had the most units on Missouri. Completely wrong on the process there, but we hit. So wheels up on that one, up money for the week. So feeling pretty good going into this one. Not feeling great about Texas, but feeling good about having some cash.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel great about Iowa fans right now. The disrespect I'm seeing out there on the internet, they're acting like they just won the Super Bowl here, Bogman, and they just beat Penn State, which had an interim head coach, 3-3 on the season, backup quarterback in Iowa as 3.5-point favorites. So maybe that's a different program, but
they're just happy they got 25 points, man.
Maybe that's
what it is. You know, you're one game of 37 points against Wisconsin because they can't move the ball at all. Outside of that, it's, you know, they did put up 38 against Rutgers. They scored 47 against UMass, but to score over 20 against Penn State is an accomplishment for Iowa. So, you know.
Iowa fans, come at me. Georgia Tech haters, come at me. I'm here. I'm ready for it. I'm fired up. Today's program does look like this. We're going to recap all the Week 8 action, the betting risers, the betting fallers. Plus, we're going to give you an early handicap of the top 10 games for Week 9 of the season. And as always, shout out to everyone who continues to make us a part of their week by joining us either on the BP YouTube channel or the audio feed. The easiest free way to support us, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new so you don't miss a moment of CFB and NFL betting coverage this fall. Also, if you want a chance to score this signed Nick Chubb Cleveland Browns helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, download the free Betting Pros app, B, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe to our social media handles. We are at Betting Pros on X and TikTok. We're at Betting Pros NFL on the Instagram. The more actions you go ahead and complete, the more entries you're going to receive, and we will announce a winner right here on the program, so make sure you ring the bell so you could be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize if you are that one lucky winner. And before we break down what's to come, let's rewind on another wild weekend of college football. FIU upsets Western Kentucky 25-6 on Thursday. Louisville ends number 2 Miami's perfect season 24-21 on Friday. Also on Friday here, we have Minnesota knocking off number 25 Nebraska 24-6. As someone who doesn't necessarily want Matt Roll back in State College, I'm all right with that one. And then on Saturday, number 12 Georgia, they stay in control of the ACC with a 27-18 win over Duke. Number 18 Virginia, they turn it on late, winning 22-20 against Wazoo. We also had number 3 Indiana, they dominate Michigan State 38-13. Number 17, Vanderbilt. I'm sure Terrell was happy about this. They proved they are here to stay. They beat number 10 LSU 31-24.
Not a sweat at all either.
No, really not. The only sweat was my under not going to come through by halftime, and it certainly did. Yep. Number 14, OU. They made quick work of South Carolina 26-7. Number 1, Ohio State, they blank Wisconsin 34-0. That's one I think we should have both been on. I think you were on the team total under of that one. And then we also had number 4, Texas A&M. All of a sudden, the defensive woes, they're back, man. 45-42, win over Arkansas. Number 9, Georgia holds on 43-35 against number 5, Ole Miss. Number 6, Alabama gets their 4th straight ranked win over number 11, Tennessee, 37-20. Arizona State ends number 7, Texas Tech's undefeated season, 26-22, with our boy Sam Levitt back under center. Number 16, Missouri, they take Auburn to double OT, winning 23-17 in the ride of Boggs' life. And then number 21 Texas, they get out of Lexington with a win, 16-13 in overtime against Kentucky. Florida beats Mississippi State 23-21, and then they proceed to fire head coach Billy Napier. He's out on the streets.
Did you see after the win, the fans in the swamp were chanting "Fire Napier"?
Oh,
I mean,
they
wanted this guy gone. It is brutal. College football is brutal for head coaches, but also,
I think he's under 500, right?
You sit at home and make a little cash too.
Yeah,
not a bad situation. So.
Hey, the potential co-hosts for the BP podcast are growing week by week right now. UAB, they also get the dead cat bounce after firing Dilfer the week prior. They handed number 22 Memphis their first loss.
I got smoked on that one.
Oh, no. 31-24. Number 13 Notre Dame, they send number 20 USC home empty-handed as well, 34-24. And then in the holy war of all holy wars, number 15 BYU, they get the win over the Utah Utes. So, Boggs, obviously so much to discuss, so little time. Who were the betting risers and fallers for you this week?
I mean, Vandy just looks better every week, right? Like, you got to take them against Missouri this week. Missouri looked rough on the road against Auburn. Auburn played, I heard, I think it was Dalton Wasserman and Max Chadwick talking about this for PFF, that they might have wasted Jackson Arnold's best game. Like, because nobody else, Jackson Arnold actually played pretty well, and nobody else did for Auburn. So that was a brutal game for them. I mean, look, South Carolina, we'll get into it in a little bit, but they look miserable. As this
fade until you can't.
Yeah, as this Wisconsin's offense. Man, I really thought Memphis was just a dominant. I thought they were going to roll right into the playoff. And they got beat by UAB. UAB spread them out. That was a lot of fun. I don't think Arizona State is as good as they were last year. But they were better than Texas Tech on Saturday. That's all that matters. It wasn't a really good game for either of these teams. Will Hammond just didn't have it. He looked a lot like the week before, which I thought was not going to happen because he was getting first-team reps this week, and he wasn't the week before, but they just could not handle that defense.
Shut Dickey down, too, honestly.
Yeah, the run game was not good. They held the ball a long time, too, I feel like ASU did. Texas looked pathetic against Kentucky. Now, I will admit, Texas safety Michael Taft made a good point. He's like, everyone's quiet in here, and we're happy. We won. You saw what Kentucky did to Georgia when they came into town in a night game here last year. Yeah, it was the same thing for us. So he was looking at it a better perspective, but you don't want to go to overtime against Kentucky. I don't care where the game is.
No.
Tennessee still has no defense. I think A&M's defensive issues are going to catch up to them, but Arkansas has been doing this to a lot of teams. So this is not... It's not a great performance, but I don't know if it's a really terrible performance.
Arkansas team overs. We need to consider that and keep that in the back of the mind for the future, because they've been doing that all year, as you said.
100%. And Oregon, I mean, Rutgers defense has been good. Did you see how many yards Oregon had?
No, how many was it? Oh, all of a sudden I looked up and it was a close
56 points. So
I looked up in the first quarter. I'm like, oh, this is kind of a pretty tight game, and they were on the lower box of the two quad boxes.
You might be
I was
too
running.
young. You might be too young to remember the Price is Right guy, the yodeler.
Yes.
Where if you give too much, he'll go over the cliff and fall. I don't think you can give me a number that will go over the cliff. Well, how many yards do you think Oregon
699.
had? 750.
Wow. Oh.
Against Rutgers, and held them to 202 yards. And they had the ball for 27 minutes and 53 seconds.
Wow.
They had the ball for literally less than half the time and put up 415 rushing yards they had on Rutgers, who had been a good defense. Whittington 100, Davison 100, Hill 62.
I wonder how many fancy points that was
35.
for more. That's insane.
I mean, he had 290 yards and 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then 3 rushes for 49 yards. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's a big game. That's a big game for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a fun week, a good week again. Kind of surprised that BYU came back and won that game, but that was like that game. And the Missouri-Auburn game, I sent a message to you and Terrell, and I just said, we should have just said we have no clue. Because that's really what it was. Looking at the end of those games, no one had any idea who was going to win those games. So it was just lucky bounces in those ones.
I gotta shout out Georgia Tech, man. I mean,
They look good.
no, I was
This
a little
is your
bit of
bet too.
It was too. I tagged you on socials earlier. I took a little lap here, 250 to 1. We're still riding it. They're still out there like 100 to 1 at some books too. So it's not like I have that much closing line value on that ticket. But look, man, they've been a lot of fun. It was a little bit of a sweater, but Haynes King and company pulled it out there. And going to continue, I think, betting team total unders against anyone who's playing Oklahoma. That defense looks awesome every single week. Boggs, first week actually in the green for me all college football season long. So
let's go.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
there.
The curse has been lifted. James Franklin is gone. Vibes are high. We went into the weekend hitting a big Talladega 20 to 1 truck series outright as well. So all is right in the world right now, man. I'm ready to fire things up here for week number 9. What about yourself?
Yeah, I climb all the way back in. Right, and then I go one game under. So I was 34-34.
Yeah.
So now they're going to be 39-40.
Okay.
Going into this week, but units were up on the year, so
let's go.
We'll take that.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump right into the noon slate with the top 25 matchup between two teams towards the top of the SEC standings. The number 8 Ole Miss Rebels, they're traveling to Norman. 4 to 5 point favorites, depending where you're looking, against the number 13 Oklahoma Sooners. The Rebs now 6-1 straight up, 4-3 ATS. They're coming off that high-scoring, narrow defeat at Georgia, a game where Trinidad Chambliss, he looked certainly capable to hold his own, combining for 3 touchdowns. He now leads the conference in yards per attempts and yards per completion. However, the defense has been somewhat suspect for the Rebels here, ranking 52nd in scoring, 66 in total yards allowed. OU, they put the clamps on South Carolina last week, 6-1 ATS, 4-3 straight up coming in. John Mateer looked better, still maybe not 100% healthy. The defense, though, elite, still second in scoring and also first in total yards allowed. Ole Miss won and covered last year as 6-point favorites. But Scotty, do you think this fares out differently, and do you think that this line continues to widen?
I think this line is about correct. I mean, give the home team a little more than a field goal spread, because whoever wins this game, I think this is going to be the biggest win of the season for them, easily. Ole Miss is so damn hot and cold. They've played only 2 complete games this season. Those were the 2 against the G6 and Georgia State and Tulane. Every game they played against the SEC and even the game against Wazoo, they've all been 1-score games. To me, they played up for LSU and Georgia and down for Kentucky and Arkansas. Oklahoma has been outstanding on defense this season, but this schedule for them has not been very impressive. It's Michigan, Auburn, Texas, South Carolina are all below average in the FBS. Ole Miss is 16th on offense.
Yeah. Okay.
All those teams on offense. Michigan,
that's
Auburn,
fair.
Texas, South Carolina. That's the hard schedule that Oklahoma has faced.
That's
so
fair.
really good defenses, but not good offenses. Ole Miss, great on offense. 16th in scoring, averaging 37.4 points per game. I'm going to go with the over in this game. Ole Miss has moved the ball on everyone. Even when they only scored 24 points on LSU, they still put up 480 yards and 28 first downs. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer gets another week healthier, removed from this thumb surgery. He needs to throw the ball downfield. I mean, they easily beat South Carolina. He's got to sling it downfield a little bit more. I think he was gun shy after all the interceptions against Texas.
Totally.
So I think this will be a better week for him. And this is a low total, 52.5 right now. It may drop because I feel like the under is going to be more in play as well. So yeah, man, I like the over because I think Ole Miss can move the ball on anyone. Oklahoma hasn't been tested on defense quite yet, right? At least not an Ole Miss, because Texas offense is not scary. And that, they scored 23 points and that was with a punt return touchdown. So yeah, I think this is going to go over because I think Ole Miss can move the ball on anybody.
Okay.
Stay away from the side. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch the side. I'm just going to go with the over in this game.
I just, got done saying that I want to continue to betting Oklahoma team total unders for their opponents, but this is a spot I don't want to with Lane Kiffin on the control sticks here, right? So I'm with you that I do think we see some more points in this, but I'm not betting it just because I'm afraid that what happens if Oklahoma just continues to be absolute monsters on defense. I mean, I don't know, man. I saw Venables out there earlier today. He was running up the bleachers. He was getting his sweat on. I don't know. I think he's going to call a good game there on the defense.
He can stay in shape. He can call a defense, but he's got nothing on offense. I'd say if you put him and Lincoln Riley together, maybe pretty good.
Yeah, I think they might be able to beat the New York Jets right now, honestly.
Definitely possible.
Also in the news slate here, Bogman, are two teams vying for both an American Championship and CFP berth. The number 18 South Florida Bulls, they're 3.5 to 4 point road favorites against the Memphis Tigers. USF, they are the top ranked G5 team this week once again in the poll. Likely will be again after winning and covering against FAU this last week. They have gotten to 5-1 and 1 ATS. The only game they didn't cover in was against Miami, and they've also done it primarily in their offense, ranking 7th in scoring, 13th in total yards. They're balanced. It feels high pace. It's led by senior quarterback Byron Brown, who tops the conference in yards per attempt and per completion. So when he's making these passes, they're going for a mile here. Memphis, they're coming off that first loss we talked about earlier. Blown cover at UAB. The dead cat bounce, Boggs. You had to see it coming, man, right? Like,
I just didn't. You're right. Memphis has been rolling over everybody, and Trent, I get it. Like, it's traditionally been the thing. I just didn't think it was going to work this week. That's all. But it did. I mean, they spread them out. They look good. And Brandon Lewis got hurt, the Memphis quarterback, which is obviously huge coming in here.
And that's the thing. In my rankings this week, Boggs, I put out that I think Memphis is still the 4th best G5 team. I still think they're good, but without Brandon Lewis, who not only leads the conference in completion percentage, but can run all over the place as well, I'm worried, right? Like, we don't know the status of him, but he was seen on crutches after the game, reportedly. Memphis' strength of schedule also here, I think, good to know. Bottom 20 in the country. So, like, their signature wins against Troy. Troy's been very solid in the G5, and Arkansas before the firing there. So, Boggs, Memphis' downfall in this game, I think, will be they haven't played a lot of tough teams. And South Florida, they've taken down the likes of Boise State already, North Texas in a big game, and Florida as well. So where do you think this one goes?
Yeah, I think it goes to USF, and UAB really spread out Memphis. They were talking about this because I had bet on Memphis, so I had watched a bunch of this game, right? And they were talking about how, look, UAB just came in here fearless. They spread them out, they went after them, and they won. And that is exactly what USF does. They're 3rd in pace, they're 7th in scoring. The only defenses that have slowed them down this season are Miami and Florida. I really thought that Memphis was rolling to that playoff bid, as I mentioned before, and the offense can still put up yards. They went for 362 yards against UAB with they held the ball for less than 25 minutes. So, per minute, they're moving the ball. But this game is going to come down to USF scoring quickly. They need to hold on to the ball. But the big thing here is you have to be a bigger than 3.5 point favorite if the quarterback is not going to play. And it does not look like Brendan Lewis is going to play. He was on crutches after the game. So that's not a 1-for-1, but it is like a, 90 out of 100. If you're seen on crutches, you're probably not playing the next week. So you're going to have to go for the freshman. The only benefit that Memphis has is that they're playing this game at home. So, I just think USF rolls in this one. I think they run their offense a similar way that UAB ran their offense last week and beat Memphis. So I think that USF with Byron Brown is going to come away with a win in this game, specifically if Brendan Lewis doesn't play. And I think this line obviously is going to move towards the Bulls. So if you want the Bulls, I think get them pretty quick here.
I was surprised, honestly, that it was this small of a spread to begin with. Like, right now, South Florida, man, plus 120 to make the college football playoff. Like, that's where we're at. And, like, it's going to take someone, I think, probably in the American to keep him out of it, right? Like, I would think maybe Boise, if they run the table, could maybe get a spot out of the Mountain West. What do you think here? Just kind of looking full picture here.
I think it's a maybe as well. I think this game is enormous. I think whoever wins this one is in the catbird seat. So I think this is an enormously huge game for the playoff, and Memphis is probably missing their signal caller, which is not great.
Today's show is brought to you by our sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you not only get your winnings back, but also $150 in extra bonus bets. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today and make your first deposit. At 3:30 Eastern Time, the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide, they are attempting to get their 5th straight SEC win when they face the South Carolina Gamecocks as 13.5 point favorites. Bama, they have been a wagon of late, man, racking up 4 straight ranked wins to get to 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS. Ty Simpson, now your co-favorite in the Heisman odds after leading the conference in passing touchdowns with 18 and quarterback rating. Bama playing very suffocating, I would say, kind of a brand of ball right there, ranking towards the bottom 20 in pace, but 7th in time of possession and turnover margin. South Carolina, they've been getting absolutely steamrolled right now, sitting 3-2 straight up, and ATS 1-4 in SEC play this season. The offense is horrendous, 115th in scoring, 129th in total yards, allowing the 3rd most sacks in the country. Boggs, is this just another spot to fade Shane Beamer, Lenore Sellers, and company?
The under team total for South Carolina is 16.5. I've already got a ticket on it. Look, this offense for South Carolina this season has been absolutely brutal.
No time at all.
The one drive that South Carolina scored against Oklahoma, all right? It started with a shank punt. It put the ball at the Oklahoma 47. They converted on 4th and 2. They got a PI down into the 1st and goal, and then they still had to score on 4th down. And they had been down to the goal line before in this game and couldn't punch it in on 4th down. Now, Oklahoma's defense is great, right? But Alabama's defense is really good too. South Carolina, they're 129th in time of possession this season. They are allowing just under 4 sacks per game. And Lenore Sellers had 0 Mississippis before being able to throw the ball, right? He couldn't say he got to 1 Mississippi and then was draped on like every play in this game. So this offense is just brutal right now. And Ty Simpson isn't making big mistakes. If Ty Simpson was, throwing for a bunch of yards, but hey, look, he's good for 2 turnovers a game, maybe I'd stay away from this team total for South Carolina, but it just looks miserable right now. They were missing 2 offensive linemen last week as well. If they're still missing those guys, which they probably will be, this is just not a good look right now. And Bama has not been putting pressure on quarterbacks. So this is even a game that I would love to see South Carolina get right. They're not going to do it. It's the same thing with Texas and Orange. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the offensive line is ruining the offensive continuity of this team right now. And I just do not expect them to score points. So the defense is fine. They did a pretty good job against Mateer, but they're not going to do that against Simpson. I like Alabama here, but I really, really love this team total under for South Carolina.
What do you think the future is for Sellers? Like, does he go into the draft this year? Because
no,
it's
why
a
would
whole.
you?
So then, do you transfer to find a better
Yes.
offensive line and better weapons?
Yeah.
So do you think Lenore Sellers will be the top transfer quarterback probably in the portal this year?
Yes, I think they're going to fire Shane Beamer, and I think that's where that's when Lenore Sellers is going to say, "All right, I'll move." You know what I mean? Vandy will be looking for a quarterback. Honestly, might not be a really bad spot.
Yeah, honestly,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
LSU might be. There's a bunch of big jobs that are going to come open, and he can move to pretty much any of them. I think he needs another year to become, a top tier quarterback, because this year at South Carolina, unless they just completely flip things on the back half, which I don't know how you do, it's just a brutal season for Sellers and South Carolina in general.
We might need a quarterback up here in Happy Valley, so come on up, Lenore.
Yeah.
We could use your services for sure. Can't say that the protection or the weapons will be any better, but the cheesesteaks are
different.
good. The cheesesteaks are good, and it's a little colder for you, so you might enjoy that as well. Let's move to Nashville, which hosts College Game Day, and I think the city will be absolutely buzzing as the 10th-ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. They host the 15th-ranked Missouri Tigers as 2.5 to 3-point favorites. Missouri nearly lost again to Auburn last week, but it did go to overtime. They ended up getting the cover there as well for you, Bogman. 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS. Bo Pribiola, he looked mortal in that game, as did Doak Walker Award favorite Ahmad Hardy, who's leading the SEC still in rushing yards, attempts, and touchdowns. They're still 10th in total offense, 5th in total defense, so the metrics are looking good. The vibes might not be great, though, and at the same time, I don't know if that's going to be enough to slow down this red-hot Vanderbilt team that just beat LSU by a touchdown to get to 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS. Quarterback Diego Pavia. I mean, Terrell's been, if there's one thing Terrell Furman Jr. has been right about, it is this guy has swag, yes, moxie, that dog in him. Now in the Heisman conversation, down to 7-1 odds. He has led the Commies to the 8th ranked scoring offense. Boggs, I think we're at the point now where maybe the penalties, maybe the sacks allowed by the offensive line eventually catch up to Vandy. I think that is their Achilles heel. But I don't know if it happens here at home against Missouri with College Game Day present. What are your thoughts on this one?
The Alabama Loser Bowl? Is that what we're going to call this one? Both teams lost to Bama. Yeah. Vanderbilt is favored again, and after what we saw from Missouri at Auburn last week, they should be. I just don't think the O-line is going to be able to keep it together for Missouri in this game. This game is going to depend on one man defensively for the Commodores here. Glenn Seabrooks, the nose tackle, listed at 349, will be the difference in this game.
It's a big man.
Yeah, this will be a top 12 rushing defense against the 7th rushing offense in the country. If Seabrooks eats up blocks and allows linebackers to hit Ahmad Hardy like Auburn did, I do think this offense is going to crumble, just like we saw them do last week. I think that is what's going to happen. But if this one... If he can't, and they're not tackling Ahmad Hardy, and he turns into a pinball, I think Missouri rolls in this game. I think this is either a close Vandy win or a Missouri stomping. But I don't think we can trust Missouri after what we saw with this offensive line. Every first down was brutal. Bo Prabula was panic throwing. We saw that against Alabama. That started against Alabama, and it continued against Auburn. So I think that this needs to be a Vandy. We're taking Vandy here. I think it sticks to 2.5 to 3, and I'll take them. But I will say this: if the Vandy vibes are too high, and this gets out to like way more than a field goal, if it gets out to like 4.5, 5 points, I think I'll be back in on Missouri then. So I do think this is a tight Vandy win because I think stopping the run is going to be harder this week. I mean, Vandy just hasn't, they haven't played a rushing offense like Missouri yet. Not many teams have. So I think this is a tall test for Vandy, but man, Seabrooks looks good. I do not think that Missouri's defense is slowing down what Vandy is doing because the number 1 roster strength defense in the country didn't. LSU didn't. At Vandy last week. I don't think Missouri is better than LSU on defense, so I don't think Diego Pavia is going to have any issue. So I'm fully relying on Diego Pavia, expecting him to have a good game here. It's Glenn Seabrooks in the middle of this Vandy defense. If they can tighten up and play well against this run game, they win this game. If they let Missouri run, Missouri's going to possess the ball and put them in bad spots on offense. So I expect Vandy to perform here, but I think that's the key to this game, is the middle of this Vandy defense.
Big Glenny, all coming down to you, baby.
Let's go, Seabrooks.
Better be in the gym, better be getting to bed early, getting the protein in this week. We need you, buddy. We need you.
Get him some biscuits. We need all the weight we can get.
Maybe Terrell Furman Jr., maybe we can get him to send Big Glenny a little care package his way or something.
Let's do it.
There you go.
Anchor down.
The 11th ranked BYU Cougars, they come off a huge Holy War win, only to be 2.5-point road dogs in Ames against the Iowa State Cyclones. BYU once again undefeated straight up, 5-2 ATS this season. True freshman quarterback Bear Bachmeier, as well as running back LJ Martin, who leads the Big 12 in rushing yards. They've been a problem on the ground right now, combining for the 10th most rushing yards per game. They're also winning games by running the ball, chewing the clock, controlling the clock as well. And after a hot start, Iowa State, they've looked incredibly average, losing at Cincy and Colorado their past 2 games as over a field goal favorite. We know this is a team that traditionally hasn't played good on the road this season. However, Matt Campbell's squad still well-disciplined, 8th fewest penalties. They have struggled to convert in the red zone, though, and they're taking way too many sacks, the 14th most in the country per game. Personally, I'm ready to jump on BYU where I can and tease this maybe up to 3.5. Bogman, do you suggest I do that sooner, later, or maybe not at all?
I suggest you don't do it.
No.
And look, I don't like this game. I'm going to stay away from this game, but I'll say this, that the public betting is all on Iowa State. And
Really?
it's because they're at home, and this is on paper. Have you ever seen a more obvious letdown spot than coming off an emotional win? They said this is the biggest ranked on rank Holy War since 2008 last week, right? And now you have to go on the road and play Iowa State. Look, I don't trust Iowa State at all.
Sure.
I've been an Iowa State hater, right? But on paper, this is a perfect letdown road spot for BYU. They're looking ahead to the bye week. They're riding high on the road. These Cyclones don't inspire any amount of faith, so I'm not going to take them either. The only quality win they have was against Iowa, and that was 16-13. I'm not counting the Arizona win as quality. They just lost one to Colorado. They weren't even really close to being in the game against Cincinnati either. I'm going to stay away unless this one gets back to where I get points to take Iowa State, but I'm not going to give points because BYU is playing too well for that right now. Iowa State, better roster strength, right? And they're at home. But this team has not put it together quite yet. One good game against Iowa, and that's a hated rival. You get up to play that game. This is a letdown spot, but I just don't trust the Cyclones at all. So I'm going to pass on this one. I don't know how this goes. If I get Iowa State catching points at some point this week, then I'll do that. But like I said, the money is flowing incredibly high towards the Cyclones. So if
anything, if you want BYU, just wait it out then.
Yeah. If you want BYU, wait it out and see where it goes. But I'm going to stay away from this game. I don't trust either one of these teams.
Okay. Staying in the Big 12, the number 21 Cincinnati Bearcats, they're laying 5.5 points on the Baylor Bears. Baylor is 4-3 straight up, 1-6 ATS, most recently losing by 6 at TCU. They have the top passing offense in the nation, though, and their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, he leads the conference in just about everything: completions, attempts, yards, touchdowns, INTs as well. On the other side here, their defense is atrocious, 118th in scoring, 107th in total defense. Cincy, meanwhile, they are 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS, coming off 4 straight conference wins, putting them tied for the lead in the Big 12. Scott Satterfield's company here, they have been a very high-scoring offense, 15th in the country. They also have a much more solid defense than I'd say Baylor does, ranking 26th in scoring, 29th in total yards allowed. Maybe this is the most efficient offense in the country by my mind as well here, Bogman. They are allowing the least amount of sacks. They have the best red zone conversion rate in the country. So are you willing to get invested with the Bearcats once again, Boggs? You did it a few weeks ago against the Cyclones. And also, do you think the 5.5 will be the shortest number available for you this week?
I do. I just don't think it moves too much, right? Like if it does, I think it does move towards Cincinnati. So if you want the Bearcats, probably take them sooner. But I tell you what I like in this game is the over. I like points here. Baylor passes the ball very well. They play at a high pace.
High number.
Cincinnati is dead last in time of possession.
Yeah, it's like 22 minutes or something a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 136th in the nation. I can tell you that much. It's 23-31. That is what they're averaging right now because they score so fast. They don't have to possess the ball. Right. And Baylor's defense, they're bad at every aspect of defense, every single aspect. They're 118th in scoring, 90th in third down conversion, 96th in opponent red zone conversion percentage. The spread is high. Or the total is high, but I feel like this game is going to rain points. The only way that I won't end up taking this game is, I want to wait for weather. We had a lot of weather this weekend. I want to wait for weather reports for the weekend, obviously, to get a little more clear. So I might wait to see if this one comes down too, because it's 67.5. It's a big total. And specifically early in the week, unders are taking a lot. So I might wait to see if this one comes down, but this game really feels like a 42-35, right? I think both teams are going to be able to score. I think Baylor's going to have the ball more, and they play at an incredibly high pace. Let me just double check it. I have it here. 4th in the country. Wow. 23rd for Cincinnati. Obviously, they have to play at a high pace because they're never possessing the ball. But, like you mentioned before, number 1 in red zone conversion. Every time they've gotten in the red zone this year, they've scored. Whether it's a field goal or touchdown, they score every single time. So, both these teams, specifically Cincinnati, 7.1 penalties per game. They're 100th because they're spending so much time on defense.
Right.
So easy to get flags on defense. That will help Baylor, and it will stop the clock as well. So, yeah, man, I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. So I'm on the over, even at a high total.
We need like a new Lil Jon song. Points.
Yeah. I like it. It's a good idea.
Takes me back, man. Takes me back to my high school days when blasting that in the gym. Those were the times. Those were the times. Guys, make sure you're tracking your bets, staying accountable, and leveling up by downloading the BettingPros app. With the Sportsbook Sync feature, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in just one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems by finding winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users, you can score yourself 6 months of BP Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at any of our partner sportsbooks. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. At 4:15 Eastern Time, the 22nd ranked Texas Longhorns, they travel to Starkville as 6.5 to 7.5 point favorites against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Texas is coming off that overtime slugfest against Kentucky, moving them to 5-2 straight up, 2-5 ATS. Quarterback Arch Manning, to me, just still doesn't look right. Offense suffering because of that. Ranked 80th in scoring, 80th in total yards, plus 86 in explosive plays. The Bulldogs were on an absolute heater to begin the season, but they've now lost 3 straight SEC matchups, dropping them to 4-3 straight up, 6-1 ATS, though. Their offense, led by fifth-year senior quarterback Blake Shapen, ranked statistically better than Texas in almost every single metric, but the defense appears to be far worse than the Longhorns, especially against the run. So, Boggs, this was one of those few teams that Arch played before, but will that help him here as the Cowbells will be rocking on Saturday?
The Florida loser bowl. Right? Like,
oh, no.
Both these teams lost to Florida.
That's even worse. That's way worse.
This is not Kentucky. But you can't take Texas here. They're 2-5 against the spread. They just didn't cover against Kentucky. And Kentucky could barely move the ball. You're right. Mississippi State is moving backward from that big win against ASU earlier this season. They weren't even in the game against A&M. They made it close against Florida, but Florida's been bad all year and up and down. But the story of this game to me is the O-line for Texas has been miserable. And Arch nearly got killed against Kentucky. The Texas defense will beat up Mississippi State's line. They'll harass Blake Shapen and likely keep them to well below their normal 31.9 points per game. But I think the best bet here might be Texas under 27.5. They've scored no points. They can't move the ball. Arch is getting beat to crap. Now, look. You're right. He played Mississippi State and he looked great against them last year. So being the one team that he's familiar with might be good, but you have to go on the road and play at Starkville.
Yeah.
Loud, raucous crowd here. I don't like it.
I don't either.
I might wait for it to see if it gets up to 28.5, right? If it gets up to 28.5, I think I'll hammer it. But 27.5 is probably going to be okay. Texas just, they haven't put up many points, even against OU when they had the ball and they had 4 turnovers. They put up 23 points, and one of those was on a kick return or a punt return from Niblet. So, I don't really like Texas to score points because they've been looking bad, specifically on the O-line.
Well, and how you attack this Mississippi State defense is on the ground, and Weisner's been banged up. He's back now, but he hasn't looked exceptional yet. No Baxter. Doesn't seem like he is coming back anytime soon. Maybe you have more information on that than I do, but yeah, I just don't really, and even Arch, when he runs, he's just not necessarily effective because he's doing it kind of out of necessity, scrambling, just trying to avoid sacks rather than, designed runs with big gaping holes or anything like that. So
yeah, the run blocking grades were almost as bad as the pass blocking grades, which is saying something. Nick Brooks, the left guard, has been miserable. Gooseby has looked bad. But Arch is beat up right now. You don't want Arch running a lot in this game. You want him to sit in the pocket and pass, and he hasn't looked good doing that. He's had happy feet. He's thrown the ball across his body. So I think the game plan is going to be to have Arch take less hits, quick passes and stuff like that, and he's been ineffective. So I think the first half is probably, specifically the first quarter, is going to look real bad for Arch. So maybe a first quarter under is better. But I like the team total under for Texas because they are not moving the ball right now.
Moving to the primetime slate, the number 3 Texas A&M Aggies, they roll into Baton Rouge as 2.5-point favorites against the number 20 LSU Tigers. Mike Elko's men, they were just in a barn burner at Arkansas, winning by 7, failing to cover in that one as well. They're just one of 6 undefeated FBS teams remaining. Crazy, we're already there at that point in the season, but they haven't been great to the gambler, sitting just 3-4 ATS. Their quarterback, Marcel Reed, he is now 10-1 in the Heisman odds as he's led this team to the 17th best total offense, 13th most big plays as well, coming against the 10th toughest strength of schedule. But this defense, very suspect at times, including last week. LSU, they picked up their second loss in their last 3 games here. Last week against Vandy, moving to 3-4 ATS this season. Their offense looked a bit better in that one. Saw some pretty explosive plays. Some of those were kind of fluky though. Some tip balls, missed tackles, that type of thing. The defense let Vandy score 4 touchdowns as well. So I just really, Boggs, I don't think these are two teams that are heading in a good direction, specifically LSU. Like, I think A&M still everything out in front of them. Maybe something catches up with them eventually. Do you have a play or maybe a lean on this one?
Just a lean, and it's towards the Aggies, right? Neither of these teams are good against the spread this year, and they split totals right down the middle. A&M is 5-2, LSU is 2-5. And Death Valley is a weird place at night. There's a lot of pressure for A&M during the 7-game win streak. I just don't think LSU can move the ball. I think that's the real problem. The 24 points they put up against Vandy last week is the most they've scored against a P4 team this year. I don't think that LSU is going to be able to stick with the Aggies on the scoreboard. But I do hate this game being in Death
Valley.
Right?
Right.
So I think A&M wins here. I think they win by a touchdown or more. But I hate the fact that LSU is at home in this game. And just traditionally, this is where A&M starts to chunk the year, right? They look great. They're up here high in the rankings. And they fold like origami a lot of the time. So, and the only thing I care about, Texas can still make the playoff, which is a disgusting thought. They're not good enough to win in the playoff unless Arch just completely flips his play and the O-line gels together somehow. They're not good enough to win in the playoffs. All I care about is beating A&M. That's it. That's all I care about. How do you beat them? You have to get them off the scoreboard. LSU has the defense to do that. I just don't think they will. They didn't keep Vandy off the scoreboard last week. And I just don't think they're going to slow down Marcel Reed at all right now. He's just playing too well. So, yeah, give me the Aggies in a lean, but I probably won't have much money on this game because traditionally this has been a weird game. We expected LSU to win and A&M won last year. Now that we're expecting A&M to win, could easily be an LSU year.
Okay. Also in the late window is the number 17 Tennessee Volunteers. They're attempting to get back on track here in Lexington as 9 to 9.5 point favorites against the Kentucky Wildcats. The Vols are 5-2, but have looked kind of rough lately, losing 4 straight ATS after cashing in 3 of the first 3 games to start the season. It hasn't been the fault of Josh Heupel's offense, though. Honestly, they're still second in scoring, 5th in total yards. Quarterback Joey Aguilar, he leads the conference in passing yards. Their running back Deshaun Bishop, he also leads the conference in yards per carry, so he's efficient on the ground. The defense, though, 110th in scoring, 96 in total yards, allowing the 24th most big plays. UK comes off a classic drag you through the mud type of game, taking Texas to overtime. They're now 2-4 straight up and ATS, but they're dead last in the SEC standings. Their offense now under Cutter Boley has been better, but still not great, ranking outside the top 100 in scoring and total yards. The defense is average, but has seen to give up some big plays. We saw it in week 1 against Toledo. We saw it last week a few times against Texas as well. So Boggs, Tennessee obviously the better team in this one, but can Mark Stoops' men continue to muddy the water against ranked opponents like he has all season long?
A normal team should be able to go into Kentucky and beat the brakes off of them. A normal high-level SEC team should be able to go in. Now, but they bow up. They bowed up against Texas this year. They bowed up against Georgia last year. And by the way, they're 2-4, Seth. You know the 2 teams they beat against the spread? Texas and Ole Miss. So,
exactly, yeah.
I hate Kentucky, man. I hate their guts. They lose me money every year. Tennessee has only not scored against Bama. this year. Kentucky played great against Texas offense, but I think that was more about Texas offense than it was Kentucky's defense. Tennessee can be beat on defense, but Kentucky hasn't scored more than 23 against anyone yet this season. I like the over. I think Tennessee, the over for Tennessee's team. It's 31.5. Lots of cash on Kentucky right now. So let's see if this one moves more towards Kentucky so we can get more value on Tennessee. Like if this drops to 7.5 is currently at 9, right? Or did it slip down to 8.5 yet?
I'm seeing only 9.5 tickets out there right now.
Yeah, so if it sticks there, I don't like it. But if we can get this down to 7, 6.5, even maybe, since the cash is flowing towards Kentucky so far to start, and it's like over 90% cash is on Kentucky right now. So if it sticks that way, I mean, they just had a good performance at home, right? And I think people remember Georgia going to Kentucky last year at night. What they don't remember is South Carolina going to Kentucky and just murdering them last year. I feel like this is more of that. We've seen Kentucky bow up. They bowed up against Ole Miss. They bowed up against Texas. I think they might be out of those punch cards, right? So I think Tennessee is going to be able to rain points in this one. Don't know about the team total or the game total because I don't know how much Kentucky scores. I think most teams should be able to score against Tennessee's defense this year. Syracuse did. So I think Kentucky should be able to, specifically looking better last week, but I don't trust it at all. So give me this over 31.5 for Tennessee team total. That's what I want.
I mean, yeah, that's a good 12, 13 points below their season average. While the Kentucky defense is good, they can drag you down. I don't hate that at all. And I think your disdain for Kentucky might be like right up there with mine for Iowa right now. So there are rivals, Boggs. There are rivals.
Do you know, have you looked up the team total for Wisconsin yet this week?
No, what is it?
7.5. Guess the juice.
I would say minus 140 at least, minus 135.
240.
240, minus 240.
Minus 240. They're not going to score a point. They might not score a point again this year.
I might be tempted, honestly, at that point then to take a team total over 6.5 on them. One touchdown would probably get you 2-1 back, right?
It's 7.5, so they have to score twice. But
I'm teasing that down. You know me. I'm taking it. Oh, it's set right now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you. They would not allow you to tease it any lower than 7.5. They're playing Oregon.
Someone might take that action.
Yeah. Somebody might. I was only looking at one site, so maybe. But yeah, I mean, 7.5 is gross.
Let's go ahead here, man. Let's round out this program with the Houston Cougars in Tempe as 8.5 point dogs against the 24th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. The Cougs, they're coming in. Their only loss was getting smacked by Texas Tech in the mouth. So they come in 6-1 straight up, 5-2 ATS as well. Quarterback Connor Wegman, this has been about as serviceable as he's been in his entire career. He's got this offense at least to average numbers, 62nd in scoring, 73rd in total yards as well. The defense still ranking inside the top 35. And Arizona State, they kept their college football hopes alive with that upset win over Texas Tech last week to get to 5-2 straight up, 3-1 ATS. They combined for 394 total yards against one of the nation's best defenses. Sam Leavitt looked close to full strength, at least throwing the ball for 319 yards and a score to Jordan Tyson, who's pacing right now to lead the Big 12 in the receiving Triple Crown category. So, Boggs, does Kenny Dillingham and company keep it rolling against a very good Houston team this season, but they're at home in Tempe where the crowd should be fired up once again with this yo-yo club?
Yeah, for the record, I do think Arizona State gets caught this year. Not going to be this week, though.
Really?
I don't think...
I'm getting a cash out for almost my full unit back that I put on them to make the playoff.
Look, if we get Tech and Arizona State rematch for the Big 12 title, but Baron Morton is playing, I'm going to get rolled. So
now you can hedge, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what will end up happening. But I also think they got a game at Iowa State.
BYU's looking good.
I think that's, if they have to play BYU, that would be a tough game as well in the Big 12 title. But so I do think Arizona State gets caught, but it's not going to be this week against Houston. I just don't think Houston's been playing better on defense than offense, actually, just statistically, if we're looking at the numbers. So, but again, strength of schedule, 93rd, right? Haven't really been tested. It's Arizona State is battle tested. They have played the 17th hardest strength of schedule so far this season. They're allowing some sacks. Texas or Houston can get to the quarterback a little bit. So I think on paper, maybe this is one that people look and say, I think Houston can get in here, right? And actually, as it stands right now, the more tickets are on Houston, but cash is leaning towards Arizona State. But they're both, either one of those could flip this week, and I do think it will. I hope it's towards Houston because I don't like this line. We showed that this should be closer to a 6.5 point game. So I'll wait and hope that this comes down towards Houston and makes this a 6 or a 5.5 later in the week. I just don't think it does, though. So I'm probably going to end up staying away from this game. I know Arizona State, a lot of people are into right now. I'm just not quite there. I just don't think this is the same team they had last year. So they beat Texas Tech. It was a great win.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Dillingham is an amazing coach. And I don't mean to be, I'm definitely not a hater. I'm a doubter of Arizona State. So I'm going to stay away from this one. I lean towards the Devils, but I do think that that ASU is going to get clapped here at some point, just not this week.
All right, Bogman. Well, I appreciate all the information today, man. That's going to do it for us on this early picks episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. Still to come later this week and every week right here on the BP YouTube channel and the audio feed, our official picks and predictions show with Terrell Furman Jr. and Boggs' best bets and player props episode. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite Week 8 picks. We want to hear from you. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.